numbness in your feet, cold hands that never seem to warm up, that sharp pins and needles tingling that hits at night. Most people brush these off as just getting older. But here's the uncomfortable truth. This is not normal aging. These symptoms are warning signals. They mean the system responsible for delivering oxygen and nutrients to your brain, nerves, and muscles is quietly breaking down. And when poor circulation is ignored, it doesn't stop at discomfort. It often leads to memory decline, constant pain, slow healing, and eventually loss of independence. But here's the part most seniors never hear. There are 2 doctor-approved vitamins that don't just support circulation, they help rebuild it from the inside out, even after 60. In this video, you'll discover exactly what they are, how to take them correctly, and the one common mistake that silently blocks results for millions of people. But to understand why these 2 work so well, you first need to know what's really breaking down inside aging blood vessels. Most people believe poor circulation happens because a large artery suddenly gets blocked. That's not what usually happens. In reality, circulation problems after 60 almost always begin with microscopic damage, long before any major blockage appears. Doctors call this endothelial dysfunction. Think of your blood vessels like the plumbing in an old house. When the house was new, the pipes were smooth, flexible, and wide open. Water flowed easily. But after decades of use, those pipes don't suddenly clog overnight. They slowly become rough on the inside, less flexible, and less responsive. Inside your body, the endothelium is the thin inner lining of every artery and vein. Its job is to sense blood flow and tell vessels when to relax or tighten. Over decades, silent inflammation, blood sugar spikes, toxins, and even common foods gradually damage this lining. Here's the critical part most people miss. The smallest vessels fail first. Tiny capillaries feeding your toes, fingers, and brain begin to starve. That's why symptoms show up as cold feet, numb hands, tingling, brain fog, and weakness long before a doctor ever mentions heart disease. It's not a circulation shutdown. It's a communication failure inside the vessel walls themselves. And once that inner lining is compromised, your arteries become the perfect place for something dangerous to settle in. And that's where the real damage accelerates. Here's the part almost no one talks about. Long before a major blockage ever forms, something far more subtle begins to damage your circulation. Calcium ending up in the wrong place. Calcium is essential for strong bones and teeth. But as we age, especially after 60, the body's ability to control where calcium goes starts to weaken. Instead of staying in the skeleton, tiny amounts begin depositing inside the soft walls of your arteries. This process is known as arterial calcification, and it happens quietly over many years. Think of your arteries like flexible rubber hoses. When calcium builds up inside their walls, they slowly turn rigid, more like stiff plastic tubing. Blood can still pass through, but it no longer flows smoothly. The vessels can't expand when your muscles or brain need more oxygen, and they can't relax when pressure needs to drop. That's why circulation slows even when scans show no serious blockage. The problem isn't a clog, it's lost flexibility. This stiffness increases resistance, reduces blood volume to the extremities, and strains the heart. Over time, it accelerates numbness, cold limbs, high blood pressure, and cognitive decline. So the real question becomes, what tells calcium where it belongs? And where it doesn't? And this is exactly where the first critical vitamin comes in. Here's where most people get confused. They hear vitamin K and think it's all the same. It's not. Vitamin K1 is mostly about blood clotting. Helpful, yes, but it does almost nothing for aging arteries. Vitamin K2 is the one that matters for circulation. And within K2, there's one form that stands above the rest, MK7. Think of K2 MK7 as a traffic director for calcium inside your body. Calcium is essential for strong bones. But as we talked about earlier, when the inner lining of your arteries is damaged, calcium starts drifting into places it was never meant to be, the soft walls of blood vessels. That's what makes arteries stiff, narrow, and slow. K2-MK7 activates specific proteins that act like cleanup crews. They grab calcium out of the artery walls and escort it back to where it belongs, your bones and teeth. As that buildup clears, something powerful happens. the arteries soften, they become flexible again. They regain the ability to expand and contract with each heartbeat. That's why people often notice warmer feet, less tingling, and better circulation in the hands first. The smallest, most vulnerable vessels finally get relief. But there's a catch. Even clean arteries won't deliver strong blood flow if they don't know when to relax. And that brings us to the second vitamin. Vitamin D3 is often talked about as a bone vitamin, but that label barely scratches the surface. In reality, D3 behaves more like a hormone precursor than a simple nutrient. And one of its most important targets is the inner lining of your blood vessels. The cells that make up the endothelium are packed with vitamin D receptors. That's not an accident. When D3 levels are adequate, these cells receive clear signals to stay calm, flexible, and responsive. But when D3 runs low, which happens to a huge percentage of adults over 60, those signals weaken. Blood vessels become tense, narrow, and resistant to flow. This is where nitric oxide comes in. Nitric oxide is your body's natural vessel relaxer. It tells arteries when to widen so blood can move freely. Vitamin D3 plays a key role in regulating how much nitric oxide your body can produce. Low D3 means low nitric oxide, and low nitric oxide means tighter vessels, higher pressure, and sluggish circulation. On top of that, vitamin D3 is a powerful anti-inflammatory agent. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the main forces damaging the endothelium in the first place. By calming that inflammation, D3 helps protect the vessel lining from further breakdown. And when these two vitamins work together, something powerful happens. Most supplements work alone, these two do not, and that's exactly why their effect on circulation is so powerful. Vitamin K2 and vitamin D3 operate on two different, but perfectly connected problems inside aging blood vessels. K2's job is mechanical. It removes stiffness. By clearing calcium out of artery walls, it restores flexibility. Arteries can bend, expand, and contract again instead of behaving like rigid plastic tubes. But flexibility alone isn't enough. That's where D3 comes in. Vitamin D3 sends biochemical signals. It tells blood vessels when to relax and how wide to open by supporting nitric oxide production. At the same time, it reduces the inflammation that originally damaged the vessel lining in the first place. Think of it this way. K2 clears the road. D3 controls the traffic flow. When used together, blood moves more freely, with less resistance, and reaches areas that were slowly being starved: your feet, hands, and brain. This is not symptom masking. It's not about temporary warmth or short-lived relief. This combination addresses the root problem: damaged, stiff, inflamed vessels that no longer respond properly. And when the vessels start functioning again, circulation improves naturally, often faster than people expect. But even this powerful duo needs support to work at full strength. And that support starts with what's on your plate. Even the most powerful vitamins can only work as well as the environment you give them. Think of K2 and D3 as, skilled workers. Without the right building materials, their impact is limited. That's where food becomes a force multiplier. For vitamin K2, nature hides it in foods most people stopped eating decades ago. Fermented foods are the richest sources. Natto tops the list, but honestly, it's an acquired taste. More familiar options include hard cheeses like Gouda and Swiss, grass-fed butter, and certain fermented dairy products. These provide K2 in forms your body actually recognizes and uses. Vitamin D3 is different. Sunlight is the gold standard, but after 60, the skin becomes far less efficient at producing it. That's why foods matter. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel help, along with fortified dairy or eggs. Now comes the real accelerator: nitrate-rich foods. These don't work directly on the arteries. Instead, they give your body the raw material to produce nitric oxide, the compound that tells blood vessels to open. Beets are the standout. Spinach and arugula are daily friendly options. Even a small square of dark chocolate can help. Together, these foods create the perfect internal conditions for K2 and D3 to do their job. Even with perfect nutrition, circulation still needs movement and fluid to stay alive. Even with the right vitamins and the right foods, blood flow can still struggle if two basic needs are missing. and almost every senior overlooks them. The first is hydration. Blood is mostly water. When you don't drink enough, your blood becomes thicker and slower, like syrup instead of a smooth stream. Thicker blood puts more strain on your heart and has a harder time reaching the smallest vessels in your feet, hands, and brain. Even mild dehydration can worsen coldness, numbness, and fatigue. A simple rule helps most people. Aim for about half your body weight in ounces of water spread throughout the day. Not all at once, just steady, consistent sipping. The second helper is gentle movement. You don't need intense exercise. In fact, pushing too hard can backfire. Walking for just 10 to 15 minutes 2 or 3 times a day is enough to make a real difference. Every time your leg muscles contract, they act like a secondary pump, pushing blood back toward the heart and preventing pooling in the lower legs and ankles. Consistency matters more than intensity. Small, repeated movements keep circulation alive, but when poor circulation goes on for too long, it begins damaging something far more sensitive than blood vessels. When poor circulation lingers for years, it doesn't just make your feet cold or your hands numb. It begins to damage something far more sensitive, your nerves. This is how peripheral neuropathy quietly develops, especially after 60. Here's what's really happening. Your nerves are living tissue. They depend on a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients delivered by tiny capillaries. When blood flow weakens, those small vessels are the first to fail. The nerves they support slowly begin to starve. As nerve cells weaken, they start firing erratic signals. That burning, tingling, stabbing, or electric-like pain isn't random. It's a distress signal. This is why neuropathy so often appears in the feet and hands. They're farthest from the heart and most vulnerable to circulation decline. Improving blood flow is essential, but in many cases, it's not enough on its own. The nerves also need direct repair support. This is where alpha-lipoic acid, or ALA, becomes important. ALA is a unique antioxidant because it's both water and fat-soluble, allowing it to penetrate deep into nerve cells. Research suggests it can reduce nerve pain, improve sensation, and protect nerves from further damage. The key principle is simple: restore the blood supply and help the nerves heal at the same time. Now, let's take things one level deeper, using physics, not pills. Here's something most people never realize. Even if you eat perfectly and take the right supplements, circulation can still stall because of simple physics. Start with sitting. When you sit for long periods, especially slightly hunched forward, you compress large blood vessels in the hips and lower torso. That compression acts like a kink in a garden hose. Blood struggles to return to the heart, and it pools in the legs. Over time, this worsens swelling, heaviness, and cold feet. The fix is surprisingly simple. Every hour, stand up and move for at least 60 seconds. Walk, stretch, or just shift your weight. This single habit restores flow and prevents stagnation. Next comes gravity. When you lie down and elevate your legs above heart level for just 10 to 15 minutes, gravity does the work your veins are struggling to do. It helps drain pooled blood back toward your core, reducing ankle swelling and leg fatigue almost immediately. Finally, breathing. Deep diaphragmatic breathing creates a gentle vacuum in the chest that pulls venous blood upward. Slow, deep belly breaths for 5 minutes a day can noticeably improve circulation efficiency. These aren't exercises or treatments, they're free biological tools your body already understands. But even with all of this in place, one hidden factor can quietly undo everything if you're not careful. Even with the right vitamins, foods, and habits, blood flow can still fail if a few silent mistakes are working against you. The first is chronic stress. When stress becomes constant, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline all day long. These hormones are natural vessel tighteners. They tell your arteries to narrow, not relax. So even if you're doing everything else right, stress can keep blood trapped in your core and away from your hands, feet, and brain. This isn't about relaxing perfectly. It's about giving your nervous system small daily signals that it's safe to open the vessels again. The second mistake is fearing healthy fats. Many seniors avoid fats and replace them with processed vegetable oils. These unstable oils fuel inflammation, which directly damages the artery lining. Healthy fats, like olive oil, avocados, and omega-3s from fish, do the opposite. They calm inflammation and help keep vessels smooth and flexible. The third mistake is poor sleep. Deep sleep is when your blood vessels repair their inner lining and rebalance hormones. Too little sleep keeps inflammation high and circulation sluggish. None of these are failures. They're simply levers you can adjust. So how do you put all of this into a simple, realistic daily routine that actually works? Every morning, take vitamin K2, MK7, and vitamin D3 with a healthy fat. Include nitrate-rich foods like spinach or beets. Throughout the day, sip water and stand up every hour. In the evening, elevate your legs and practice slow breathing. Protect your sleep like medicine. Remember this, aging does not mean inevitable decline. Your circulation can be restored, warmth can return, confidence in your body can come back. You deserve independence, comfort, and energy at every age. If this helped you, tap the like button, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe so you don't miss my next video on bone strength and longevity.